That was smooth. You did that shit. What's happening, everybody? Today is August 10th, 2011.
3 more days.
Yeah, as you notice, look at the nice George is very excited. Fucking almost tipped over my living room table with a big ass boner he had right now because Deshaun Jackson has come into camp.
And by the time you guys are watching this, it means we get our first NFL preseason game.
Yes. Now, if you want to send any personal emails to my man George.
And a lot of you have, and I appreciate
Yes.
them. And if you've noticed, I'm pretty civil on email, unlike the show. And I respond to everyone about everything. My man Red Wine sent me another one. Lightweight division, here I come. Or super welter flyweight. I was like, good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, don't get knocked out.
Yeah.
UncutGeorge@gmail.com. UncutKevin@gmail.com. If any of you people want to just bullshit with me, send shit to my inbox, talk about George.
If Jimmy was here, it would be Uncut Jimmy.
Jimmy is missing in action on
He's
Wednesdays
working.
because he has a real job. Anyway, also, a lot of people have been asking about fantasy football. We're not going to do a fantasy football league. We're going to do a suicide pool, everybody. And
Toasted by Yahoo.
It's hosted by Yahoo. If you want to join the suicide pool, the group ID number is 4401. The password is sports.
And if you
Plural.
don't feel like figuring all that shit out, just email me your email address. I'll go drop it in because I'm the commissioner of the league.
Yes, George is the commissioner. Because
That means that shit will not work.
Yep.
And then I'll just add your email and send you an invite if you don't feel like doing that. But if you want to save me the time and the problem, just figure the shit out on your own.
Yeah, figure it out on your own. Anyway, let's talk about the NFL is going to be implementing testing for HGH, and they are trying to put this shit together by September 8th. And I don't know if you know who this is. Have you ever heard of a person named Adolfo Birth the Third? Now, just let me ask you something, everybody. If you heard the name Adolfo Birth the Third, describe him.
A German chemist.
Right?
That's what I would think.
He's a brother.
Shut the fuck up.
I swear to God.
From
and he's
where?
the senior VP of the NFL. That guy was on there like Dudley with his glasses. He was like this. Well, we're going to be implementing a new policy, and we're hoping to have it kicked off by September 8th. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing annual testing, and we're going to be doing random testing of several athletes, with no athlete being tested more than 6 times in the off season. And we're going to actually do random testing the day of the show.
Day of the game.
The day of the game.
I think to me, that's where it's going to get real interesting, because for you guys who don't know, a lot of these athletes who try to get up and get ready for a game, they'll drink 2 5-hour energies.
Yeah.
They'll take Adderall. For you people who don't have ADD and you take Adderall, you get really focused and really just locked in.
Yeah.
That shit's illegal. Like,
It's illegal.
And here's the other thing. They even take Viagra. Now, for a lot of you people, why do they want to run around with hard dicks? Viagra's a vasodilator,
Right.
which fucking just pumps more blood into your system, gets you amped up.
Yeah.
So you might be running around the field with a boner, but
Yeah.
I doubt it. But it's going to get you hyped up. Again, that's illegal for NFL players to take unless you have a prescription.
This is the thing, too.
Doctors are going to be like this.
They're trying to look good. The NFL, and they don't have George and I fooled because George and I know a lot of things about drugs. Anyway, but they're like, okay, we're going to test these players for HGH. They have a blood test. They know that this blood test can only catch somebody within probably a 24-hour period. So we're like, we're just going to randomly test it. The problem is when these guys are taking HGH, and a lot of them are, because there's players that are coming out and saying that it's rampant in the NFL, say they might take it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because once it's in the system, they can kind of randomly, sporadically take it, and then they say, okay, not going to take it game day because I want to give that 24, get beyond that 24-hour window. But when they test them on game day, they can bust them for those fucking drugs that wire you the fuck out.
Now, here's the thing. Are they going to, how random is this really going to be? Like, if I have James Harrison and the punter standing next to each other, who am I going to test randomly?
Right. Well, you don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
This ain't going to be random.
It's just picking somebody. It's a player being worried that all of a sudden they can just out of the blue be pointing at and say, come on, we're going to test you.
So they're going to line up both teams before in a big hall and fucking rotate that thing like bingo?
Yeah.
Oh, James Harrison.
You bitch. Let's go.
I don't know. It seems like a complete waste of money.
Yeah.
But
you know,
if you think it's going to make your sport better, go for it. It's not.
It's always about these major league organizations trying to make themselves look better for the media and stuff like this. Now speak. Go ahead.
And the other big news out of the NFL, I don't know if this made our list, but it looks like there's two developers who are battling it out right now to build a football stadium in LA.
Whew!
So does that mean another team's going to move there, or are they just going to build a team from scratch? Because that would give us an odd number of football teams.
Yeah.
So does that mean, how is that going to work? Because we haven't talked about expansion in any sport for a while. For a while there, it was like, everyone add teams.
I don't know what they would do in LA if they would do expansion. I think some of these football markets could be really suffering, especially with the economy right now. And maybe in a year or two, they say, okay, we can build this market, we can build this stadium, we've got this market and stuff, even though LA is a basketball town, and hopefully, one of these owners might say, I want to take my team to LA. That's what they're going to probably push for.
All right, let's just think this one out real quick.
Okay.
Two things. First off, and you guys, this is where the interactive part. Let's say they want to bring a team to LA. Mm-hmm. So if current teams, if you had to transplant one team from the NFL into LA, who would it be? And if that's the first one. Second thing is, let's say we expand, we put one team in LA, where's this other expansion team going to go? Because you got to balance this shit out. So you follow me?
So the questions is if one team from the NFL is going to move to LA, what franchise do you think is struggling enough to make the transition to LA? And then the second question being, if you got to balance both sides, LA, and then what other market in the United States would be able to produce a team and actually have success?
What do you think? What team would get moved to LA first?
If I had to move a team to LA,
Toronto Raptors.
Oh,
wrong sport.
Yeah, wrong sport, man. Well, stop smoking weed. I would say, you look at schedules.
Patriots.
No, I would have to say maybe the Rams.
Back to LA.
I know. I mean, I would have to say maybe the Rams.
Kansas City Chiefs. I know for you people that sucks, but let's face it.
Kansas City has sellouts.
No, they don't.
Arrowhead. I mean, not Arrowhead.
They were one of the teams who sat there and their owner, we're losing money, hand over fist.
But they have such a big stadium, a loud stadium. They have,
and it's empty.
Really?
That's everything that was coming.
I always thought they had people.
James, let us know.
James, you gotta let us know. James is our editor, and he actually lives right in that area, so he could kind of.
I'm moving to Kansas City Chiefs to LA.
You're thinking of Kansas City Chiefs?
Now,
what other team sucks? Anyway, now second part of the question.
Yeah.
I think that.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Florida has enough teams. Move their asses to LA.
That's a good point.
Seriously,
I think that's actually.
Jaguars.
I think Jacksonville could go. Yeah, I agree with you because they've struggled too.
Yeah.
They have had problems.
And David Garrard's hurt. And
Florida's a baseball state and stuff. I can see that. So far, if Los Angeles was to,
let's say we just start a new team.
We needed a 33rd and a 34th team. I would say that maybe Oklahoma City.
For football, huh?
Oklahoma, because Oklahoma is a big football town. They have a decent amount of people now. It's a growing, growing area. I would have to say that, or I would have to say, well, they got the Panthers. I would have to say that. I would probably say Oklahoma City. I think Oklahoma City would probably have a big enough market to do it.
I can't really argue with that.
Yeah.
I was thinking West Virginia. I'm kidding.
Yeah. No.
Oklahoma would probably be a good place to put a football team. Mm-hmm. I mean, they come out and they've supported the shit out of the Thunder. So
out of Thunder, and then
you're close to Texas. You can get a nice little rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Rivalry. Jesus.
You could start having the Sooners play there too. Or one at Oklahoma,
because that's the other thing. When these guys
University.
build these stadiums now, they have to think bigger than just that one team.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is hosting everything. He's had an MMA event. He's had a boxing event. He's had Britney Spears and her mother. I mean, anybody.
It just helps your community. I think with someone like Bo Pickens, you guys, if you don't know who Bo Pickens is, I'm not going to explain it. Wikipedia that nigga. Boone Pickett. You probably don't know who Bo Pickens is because he doesn't exist.
It's Boone's cousin.
Boone is Boone's cousin, man. Them two go way back. But Boone Pickens, he's in Oklahoma. I believe Oklahoma State University alumni, and he pretty much that's his university.
He owns the university.
He owns the university.
So
I think that would be the market. Now let's move on to Major League Baseball. But we don't really care about. You want to really quickly talk about the pennant race? No. Because
Pittsburgh Pirates look good. They look like they might, if they can hold on. I'm not shitting you. This will be their first winning season in 3,000 years.
Well, they were doing good, and they were actually at the top of the division. But as of late, as of lately, because I like to change things like that. They're kind of fucking up again.
Yankees look good.
The Yankees look good, but I mean, if you look at the two best teams in baseball right now, it's without a doubt it's the Phillies.
Yeah, because they have a fucking all-star pitching staff.
The Phillies are just crazy. I think you have to make them the front runner to go in the National League. In the American League, you got to say the Boston Red Sox. They look fucking like sluts right
seriously,
now.
Fuck all that. We don't sit here and like to talk about all that. But the reason we're talking about baseball is because A-Rod finds himself in some fucked up situations.
Look, this motherfucker. This is the problem with A-Rod, and I agree to some extent. A-Rod is one of an MLB official straight out came out and said, "Look, man, A-Rod is fucking. He's an attention whore. You know, he's dating Cameron Diaz. He's no different than a Lindsay Lohan or Britney Spears. He's running around doing poker fucking. He's in poker. Poker. Yeah, well, we'll get more into that because it's a poker game. That's what we think the problem is. But he's at these games with people like Tobey Maguire, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. He wants to be Hollywood.
Now, here's where it comes into a problem. So let's say Kevin and I are going to have a poker game in Casa de White. We sit down and we invite all of our friends and we go, you know what? Kevin's hosting this game. Y'all motherfuckers need to pay up. Right. That's when supposedly becomes illegal. So I pose the question, what if these donkeys fly out to Vegas, where it's legal to gamble, inside the city, get a hotel room, a penthouse, they all split the price of the room, and have your poker game there? Why not do that? Is that still illegal?
I would have to say it's now. Just for some reason it came to me. It's legal because it's legal to have the casino and do it. Like if I had that poker game here and I was trying to have a rake. You know, for all you people that don't know what a rake is, it's not just the shit that you rake leaves with. The rake is like the commission to hold the fucking game. I'm teaching motherfucker shit. That's the little bit of nourish in me. But anyway, so if I had a rake, then I'm not supposed to be doing that shit because I'm not a casino in Vegas. So it immediately becomes an illegal poker game. If A-Rod's up in my house and I'm doing this, if Jeter's up in my house and I'm doing this.
If your neighbor's up in your house and doing this.
Everybody's fucking doing illegal shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know that I'm taking money for the game.
So now here's the other thing. The woman who was in charge of gathering these people and bringing them together, I have a feeling she was bringing other people of the female variety to come in and hang out at these games. That's what I would think. I would think if you have all these highfalutin stars with all this money and all this food and booze and whatever, the one thing that a man supposedly needs to survive is moving. All right.
So it turns into a poker game and then a poker game.
Right.
See, George and I, you know.
That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong.
We're thinking that poker might not even be with cards. It might be another type of poker.
Video cameras, baby oil, plastic sheets.
Yep. Checks every month.
Some people here know more about that than I will.
That would be Kevin. Anyway, we're going to move out of the fucking Major League Baseball and A-Rod fucking thinking that he's fucking Phil Hellmuth or whatever the fuck that poker guy's name. Was that right? Yeah, man. That's right. And we're going to talk about MMA. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the guy that rolled up.
Matt Hamill retired.
Yes.
And I'm sad. You guys will not believe this is coming out of my mouth. I'm sad to see him retire in that way.
I can't believe I'm actually hearing that.
He didn't. Anyway, so it's a shame. He put out a nice retirement speech, and I hope he does get into coaching and does very well.
And that's the kind of guy, man. That's the thing. Is Matt Hamill's a class act. We give everybody a fucking hard time, and they probably give us a hard time and call us a bunch of donkeys. But you gotta love that guy. You know, he's like, you know what? I'm not doing too hot of lately. I'm done. I'm not going to bust myself up anymore. It's like, okay, am I going to be eligible to be in any more big money fights? Probably not. You know what I mean?
And the thing is they did a special on him in the deaf community, and this is his chance to probably give back. He'll go and teach wrestling or go, help out and do his thing. But yeah, it was nice while it lasted.
Now, if you guys didn't get to see witness UFC 133 this past Saturday, we missed this, and somebody on our comment board said, dude, I can't believe you and George slipped up and didn't cover this. Was it Hallman? Was that the guy's
Dennis
name?
Hallman.
Dennis Hallman
supposedly lost the bet. That's why he wore the speedo. And rumor is his dick at one point fell out. I don't know how that would happen because you actually have to wear a cup. And normally you want to get your balls and your dick scrunched up.
Them
and
shits
in that
look
cup
fucked up, man.
He said he lost the bet. That's why he wore the speedo.
You know, I said he was coming up in there straight representing the Greg Louganis MMA Academy. Look, man, I'm going to tell you something. Okay? Dana White, there was no submission of the night. So he basically gave it to Ebersol. He said, look, Shorty, you're getting submission of the night just for getting that motherfucker out of the fucking
fight.
off the airwaves as fast as possible because that's how humiliating it was to the White.
Yeah, Dana White was not happy.
So humiliating that this motherfucker said, I'm banning Speedos.
Hey, look, that's the only person who's ever wore a Speedo. Like, that I remember. I mean, anything.
See, when I saw it, I freaked out. And I kind of thought, damn, I got a retro thought in my mind. Like, didn't these motherfuckers used to do this back in the day, like in UFC 1, 2,
Dan
or 3?
Severn wore some shorts like that.
Yeah, his shit was pretty tight.
I don't think if they were quite that bikini cut, the high on the sides, like my man.
But they were some boy shorts. I wouldn't say that to that mustache-wearing nigga. But I'm telling you what, right now. But he used to wear some boy shorts. They were tight. Now,
with that said, let me just want to do a little clarification, if I may.
Clarification.
The whole thing about the Tito thing that I said, and him putting his hand down on the mat. Because let's look, Tito had his left side up against the cage. Rashad Evans is on his right side. Rashad Evans stepped around and threw a knee straight down the middle. If Tito puts this hand down on the mat, he can't walk around and throw a knee like this because all Tito has to do is duck his head and it's an illegal knee. And as big as Tito's head is, how the hell am I going to throw a knee this way and not him in the head? So yes, it does open his right side up.
Why are you leaning on me, man? You trying to get close to me?
No, I'm just trying to show them. But look, I understand the rules of MMA.
Yeah, he knew what was... You know, you guys go... You know what? I'm going to tell you what, man. George has skin that's like fucking this thick. He doesn't give a fuck about anyway. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to expose this motherfucker right now. I don't give a shit. He emails me and he goes, I was misunderstood.
No, there's a part before that. He goes, I know what it's like to be black.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's the first part.
He goes, I know what it's like to be black. I was misunderstood. And I'm like, you know what, George? When you were explaining it to me, when he was explaining it to me in the house, I knew exactly what he was talking about. That would block the path so he wouldn't have been able to throw that punch. Throw that knee. But I think everybody was thinking that the hands were down. You were saying that he couldn't.
Right, he can still throw knees to the body. I understand that. But the knee that landed in the chest couldn't have been thrown because it would have had to hit Tito in the head. It would have been too risky. Does that change the outcome of the fight? It would have been
too risky for Rashad Evans because I'm going to tell you right now, if this knee hit that motherfucker Scrappy Dude's head, it would have been a wrap. A wrap.
And the other thing you need to learn about me real quick, I don't give a shit what you did yesterday. I don't give a shit what you did 5 years ago. I don't care if Tito won every fight up to this one in ground and pound. Here's what I know. Versus Ryan Bader, there was no ground and pound. Versus Rashad Evans, the only thing that got grounded and pounded was him. I don't give a fuck what he used to do. Which might
be the most irritating thing in the world about George, as much as I love him. Because I always go like this. See, when he has shit like this, he's like...
The Redskins were great in 1990. What the fuck did the Redskins do today?
It's simple. Just to get him his blood pressure up, I'm like, how many Super Bowls did the Eagles have? And he goes, what does that matter? He's like, what have they done lately? You're Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately?
Exactly. The Redskins haven't done shit. Yeah. They've been rebuilding for 13 years.
We had a conversation last show, and we were talking about the greatest MMA fighter, and during the course of us talking about the greatest MMA fighter, and that video is still doing well. So go back and click on it some more.
Get your mom
and talk about it on the comment board. But we brought up, George made a comment about GSP and said, hey, once he moves up to middle, if he starts dominating middle, then he could maybe go down,
greatest fighter.
And then I said, yeah, but he's got to dominate. He can't end up doing it like BJ Penn did because, he had those losses, so people would start to take him out of that category. So we came and thought, okay, who would be the best
perfect fight for GSP's? Okay, GSP has a fight
inaugural.
Let's just say he beats the shit out of Diaz. I'm hoping he doesn't, but let's just say he wins the fight versus Diaz. Let's say he needs to fight this December or this January, but he's going to fight at 185. Right. So GSP, in theory, is going to fight this January, first of the year, first of the new year.
Okay.
He's going to fight at 185.
All right.
Who should he fight? Who does he stand the best chance of winning against at 185?
I'm going to tell you what. Right away, I'm going to tell you that he's got to fight somebody. He's got to fight a decent with a name, so it makes a draw, and he's got to fight somebody that he can probably beat because that's how Dana White's going to want to do it. We all know that. We're not stupid. You look at some of the good middleweights that have decent names. I tell you right now, I think Brian Stan, Tim Kennedy are big. I think that could present a problem for GSP. I think
Tim Kennedy's in Strikeforce, so you don't have to worry about Tim Kennedy
later on. So yeah, he's still a man. Once he comes, I'm thinking of it because eventually he'll be fighting him. I would have to say, who would be a good person for him to fight? Maybe Bisping. Maybe Lieben.
Damian Maia, Chris Lieben.
Damian Maia. I don't know what obviously can't fight Marquardt now. I mean, let me think who else we got. Yeah, I mean,
how far? Basically, what Kevin and I did is we went to FightMatrix.com to get the top 50, how they have it ranked, and we're just going through the list.
Yeah.
In all honesty, let's face it. Off the top, he can't beat Anderson Silva. I know there was somebody who wrote in and said when GSP moves up to 185, he's going to dominate. Okay, I'm sorry, but I don't know if you haven't learned yet. That comment, it has no substance. You have to back that shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say my dick's 3 feet long till you see my dick.
God damn, for real, is it?
Yeah. I mean, come on now. Put a little more thought into it.
Not true.
No, definitely not. But GSP's going to dominate at 185. Right. What are you basing that off of? How? Right. Because he beat up guys that he's bigger than? Very good.
I'm going to tell you. This is the thing. I'm going to tell you who I would love to see him fight. And right now, it would depend if they signed him over in the UFC and stuff. But I like this guy because the guy, he wins some, he loses some, but he's aggressive. And I would love to see him fight GSP. I just think it would be a good fight because I know he'd keep pressing him.
Who?
Robbie Lawler. Now, yeah, GSP would probably crush him, but I'll tell you what, Robbie Lawler, let me tell you something. He's going to come at you, and he's going to throw some fucking bricks. If GSP's got to take him down and do that, but Robbie Lawler's a pretty big, strong guy, and he's got some nasty hands. Real good hands. If you get too close to him and fuck up, it'll be fucking Matt Serra Part 2.
Yeah, I'm about to say, and we could say GSP's chin is questionable, but honestly, it probably is. Ever since getting hit by Matt Serra, he hadn't been hit like that since.
He hasn't been hit like that since because he doesn't take the chances.
No shit.
That's how much it fucked his head up.
Yeah.
I mean, and anybody who's a GSP nut hugger will sit there and be like, that's you guys have to be honest with yourself and say that. GSP has not been finishing fights ever since that happened.
Well, I had a good email conversation because hold on, keep talking. I'll bring it up. In other words, who do you think? And let's be serious. To put GSP in the ring versus Anderson Silva for his first fight is unrealistic. You just don't do that. Anderson Silva didn't go up to 205 and fight the 205 champ. He fought an ex-champ and beat the fuck out of Forrest.
Right.
But before that, didn't he fight James Irvin?
Yeah.
And he beat the shit out of James Irvin. So
maybe like a Jorge Santiago.
That's okay.
I mean, that could be somebody. I mean, the thing is that the problem is just you got to have somebody. And you know what? Dana White might make it when he makes that transition to middleweight. He's literally might say, okay, we're just going to have him. It's going to be a big event. It's going to be a big draw because he's our most popular athlete and he's fighting in another weight class. So it might not even matter who the fuck he fights. They might just throw him somebody that he can just whip.
Okay, here's a conversation I had with Aldric, Audric, Perger, and he agreed. He's like,
and
GSP,
I don't know names.
It's funny to bring up the GSP connection because I wasn't actually thinking about that. I do think it's interesting though that GSP has shown so little interest in changing weight classes despite seeming to have no competition at welterweight. And he went on to basically say he doesn't have any interest in finishing fights. So who does GSP need to go in at 185 to beat before he can take on how many fights does he need to have at 185 before he can challenge for the fight for the belt?
We want to see that on the comment board. Who does he need to? How many challenges you're saying?
How many fights does he need to take and win before he gets the fight for the 185 belt?
Right. Yeah.
Because let's face it, Anderson Silva right now has a zippy incentive to go fight at 205.
Yeah.
Again, not for the belt.
Yeah.
None.
I would think GSP, because of his name, he could probably win 2 good fights and get a shot.
And I know this is going to hurt Joker Josh probably somewhere in here, but I think GSP would fuck Michael Bisping up.
I do too.
I don't think. Bisping is getting ready to fight Mayhem Miller,
right?
And I think that's going to be a great fight. But Mayhem Miller is huge for 185.
I would fucking love to see Mayhem Miller fight GSP.
That would be fun.
I would love. That's a good fight. I would love to see Mayhem Miller fight GSP.
Let GSP fight the winner of that fight.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be
the Bisping Mayhem Miller fight.
GSP
should fight them.
Yeah, we already figured it out, guys. Now. Seeing that it's a Wednesday and we need to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Well, it's actually a Thursday for y'all.
Yeah, Thursday for y'all.
Depending on what our editor does. Shit, this could be next Thursday.
James, do you hear this shit, man?
What's he gonna do? Edit me out?
James is like God when it comes to editing, because all of a sudden you can have a dick going like this in your head. Don't mess with James, shorty. He's a bad motherfucker. He's like Shaft.
And here's the thing: if we don't send this to James, how does he get paid?
Look, the problem is I send it to James.
Yeah, I will kick the computer out of the window.
All right, fellas, we're out.
Have a nice day.